little people, big people, all people. This is another episode of Buffed Up Sports, the only podcast that talks Detroit sports, the WNBA, and boxing. So thank you for clicking on this episode. But first, few ground rules. If you want to go on the Buffed Up Sports website, go to buffedupsports.com. There, you will find the social media platforms that I'm on, and you will find the platforms that Buffed Up Sports is on, such as the podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Or if you like the video aspect, you can check out the YouTube channel as well. So go to buffedupsports.com for those things, as well as if you want to send, a little cha-ching, it's ways that you can help me out and financially support the show. So go to buffedupsports.com for that. Again, thank you for clicking on this episode. Please subscribe. So subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Apple, subscribe on Spotify, subscribe on wherever you listen to the podcast on. Please subscribe. With that being said, again, thanks y'all. Hope you enjoy this one. Let's get on with the show. What's up, everybody? I appreciate you for checking this episode of Buffed Up Sports out. So let me break it down for you like this, right? This is how the episode is about to go. Every year, about once a year, I do my mailbag episode. That's the episode where, sometimes I have people send in questions, or I'll go on social media, ask people what they want me to talk about in the episode. Like, basically, it's an episode where I go in pretty much where I don't script the episode myself. It's pretty much I get this script from everyone else. So this time, I'm doing a little different. I went to AI. I wanted AI to type me up some questions. It's not that I necessarily wanted to go through AI. It was more just your boy was busy this week. I be working. Let's be real. I be working. And I genuinely forgot to just put out there, hey, send me some questions for this episode. And so since I be working so much, as I'm recording right now, I'm like, all right, I got a little time to record, knock an episode out real quick. I don't have time to wait on everybody's questions though, because I need to record like right now, or this episode ain't gonna be ready. So I went to AI. I said, AI, give me these questions. So the questions are just questions about, of course, my Detroit teams, my WNBA, boxing, but also I did would you rather questions. Do you want this to happen, or would you rather this happen? Then I did favorite questions. What's your favorite thing about this? What's your favorite thing about that? So now that you got the gist of what this episode about, let's get it started. What do you see as the biggest challenges facing the Pistons in the coming years? I say getting the fan base back. You got to get the fan base back. The last time the team was good, the Palace was sold out, every game for 7 years straight? We got to get back to that. If you get the fans back on board, the team will be more motivated to play. Everything else will follow in nature. But in order to get the fans to come out, you got to start winning some games. So I think that's the biggest challenges the Pistons face. What is your favorite Pistons uniform? I'm a sucker for the red uniforms. I like the red alternate uniforms they wore during the 2000s. But I was a real fan of that. It was Cade Cunningham rookie season when they wore the city jersey, the remix jerseys, when they pretty much took every Pistons uniform, put some addition of it onto the one red jersey. That's my favorite Pistons jersey probably all time. I actually got it, so got a custom one, so that's pretty cool. Would you rather see Isaiah Stewart develop into a dominant center or a versatile forward? For the purpose of this question, I'm going to say a forward. I would have loved to see Isaiah Stewart become this generation's Ben Wallace, but if we already got Jalen Duren, I just don't see it happening. I think, especially considering Jalen Duren's game, we don't need two centers down low in the paint. We need a forward, so I'd rather see Stewart become a forward. Could it happen? I don't know. I think Stewart, if the Pistons were to be good, I think Stewart is a great player off the bench. That's my take. Would you rather the Pistons win a championship in the next 5 years, or they make the playoffs consistently? I say championship, easy. That's easy. Championship. You know why? Because we watch our teams, we root for them to win championships, especially a team that's historic like the Pistons. Okay, so what, we make the playoffs. I ain't gonna lie. At this point, there's a few folks that probably would just say, hey, I've seen a championship before. I want to see just let us make the playoffs and be good consistently again. That's not me. I want to see a championship. I was 2 when they last won. I don't remember that. So I want to see a championship. All right. Let's get into the Red Wings now. Red Wings, how do you assess the Red Wings' overall performance last season? I honestly enjoyed watching the Red Wings. That was probably the most fun. That's probably the most I've watched the Red Wings. That's probably the most tuned in I was with them. I was watching games pretty much start to finish. Like, that was the most I've watched the Red Wings last season. And a good chunk of it had to do with just the fact they were in that playoff chase. I kept up with the box scores if I didn't watch the game. And when I watched the game, I knew what teams we needed to win, what teams we didn't. So the Red Wings last season reminded me of the 2022 Detroit Lions, a team that was good enough to make the playoffs, but literally just couldn't get in. I mean, just like the 2022 Detroit Lions, the Red Wings they fought to the very last day of the season. So I think this next season is when the Red Wings finally get in there. Because, I mean, they've been low-key fighting for it the last few years where it's been playoff chatter. I think this upcoming season is the season we actually make it. Who is the current Red Wings player you're most excited about? Patrick Kane, man. Patrick Kane. I don't have one Red Wings player jersey, but I was dang sure thinking, like, if Patrick Kane get us in the playoffs, because we already know what kind of player Patrick Kane is as a legend of the game. You know what I'm saying? But if he get us in the playoffs, I gotta get that's gotta be Kane. Like, I gotta get that jersey, man. What is the most memorable Red Wings game you've attended? I've only been to one Red Wings game. And I know I've told the story on here, but let me break it down to you like this. I went to my first Red Wings game. It was the week of my birthday. So, of course, that made it a little more exciting. Like, all right, I'm going to a Red Wings game. Woo, woo. It's my first one. They're playing the Carolina Hurricanes, who was the best team in the league that season. They're the number 1 seed. My seats was in the nosebleeds, to be honest with you. And then by the third period, I moved down. I was on the glass with it. I was right on the glass. So, the Red Wings won too. They won, but not only did they win, it was a back and forth game. They scored with probably like 3 minutes left, took the lead, and then the Hurricanes scored with like a minute left, tied it up. So now we're going to overtime. In the last 10 seconds of overtime, Lucas Raymond got a game-winning goal. Red Wings win. The crowd go home happy, walk-off style. For a first game, you can't get any better than that. So that's my only Red Wings game I've been to. Definitely the most memorable off rip, though. Just, again, the fact that's my first game, they won in overtime. You can't script it any better than that. Would you rather have Lucas Raymond or Mo Sider as the franchise player of the next decade? Everybody loves Raymond, man. I'll just explain to you how my first game, they won in the game-winning goal. Lucas Raymond was the one who did it, so I got to go with Lucas Raymond. Would you rather see the Red Wings play in Little Caesars Arena or Joe Louis Arena? So I've only seen the Red Wings in Little Caesars Arena. Believe it or not, I never went to the Joe for a Red Wings game. I went to the Joe for a few different events. Never a Red Wings game, though. But so with that being said, I would have rather saw the Red Wings play at the Joe just because they won they won their championships there. The nostalgia of the building. They had history there versus Little Caesars Arena. They still trying to build that history. The arena has no history right now between both teams that's playing there. So I would rather saw, the Red Wings play at Joe Louis Arena. Straight up. Those of you who don't know, I am officially a car salesman at Gene Buttman Ford, located off Washtenaw Avenue in Ypsilanti, Michigan. So if you're looking for a ride, come check out your guy. I help you, look for what you want and make sure you leave happy. To reach out to me, call my direct line number, 734-544-2870, or email me, which is rjhunt@buttmanford.com. If you're looking for a ride, again, reach out to me at 734-544-2870 or email me rjhunt at buttmanford.com. Touchdown on a new car and drive like a superstar. All right, y'all, let's talk some Detroit Tigers now. What do you think the team needs to do to regain the trust of the fan base? They got to spend some money, man. They got to spend some money. I know in the Tigers, they low-key been on a little, they've had a winning performance lately. They 500, few games out of the playoffs. Do I think they're going to make it? No. Hey, I might bite my tongue. But as far as the Tigers go, what's the biggest concern? They got to spend some money. You got to get these players that you need to make the team relevant again. Again, going back to when the team was good. We had one of the highest payrolls because we was bringing in payroll-worthy players. You can't expect to win with all these young guys on the team, especially when a good chunk of them don't pan out, or you're getting veterans who haven't proved themselves yet. You got to go spend the money. Go get the guys that you need to build a winning team around. You got Scooble. You got Green. But what else? That's my thing with the Tigers. And then when we do spend money, we spend it on players like Javi Baez, who, no disrespect to Javi Baez, but he's not performing at the money he's getting. Let's just be real here. Would you rather the Tigers win the World Series or have a homegrown player win the MVP? Let me break it down to you like this. Again, I've saw the Tigers have MVP players, Verlander and Cabrera. So I got to see it multiple times, especially with Miggy. But I never got to see my team win the World Series. And that's what hurts me the most because of that, 2010, 2013 run. You should have walked away with one. You should have walked away with one. And the fact that we were favored to win a good chunk of those years hurts me the most. So to answer the question, I would have rather saw the Tigers win the World Series. MVPs are cool. I'm very grateful I got to grow up in my, childhood to see future Hall of Famers on my team. Again, you got your Verlanders and your Cabreras, but also the Scherzers and all the other all-star players we had. Grateful I got to grow up during that era. Just wish we could have won a ring. What's the next one? Would you rather the Tigers have a dominant bullpen or a consistent starting rotation? Kind of going back to them teams I was just talking about, that 2010, 2013. Great starting pitching. I mean, you had Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Anibal Sanchez wasn't bad at all. Rick Porcello had some good nights. Then you brought in another Cy Young player like David Price. The Tigers had an all-star level starting rotation, right? 1 through 5, all great pitchers, good pitchers, decent pitchers. Bottom line is, you had the pitching to get you through, and it'll irk my soul because we would get through that first few innings when the starter's in, throwing that bullpen, and they'll just mess it up. But hey, Jose Valverde shout out because he had the 50 save season at one point. But what killed those Tigers teams during that era when we should have won a World Series? What killed that team the most? Bullpen. The bullpen, we just didn't have that solid bullpen that could close games. And that was like our Achilles heel, man. So to answer, would I rather saw the Tigers have a dominant bullpen or consistent starting rotation? I'm going to go with the starting rotation, though. As much as I want to say bullpen after the reasons I just gave, I got to go starting rotation because of the fact. The fact is, you got to have your starting rotation, your starting pitcher are going to pitch more innings than your bullpen, hopefully. So you got to have somebody get it solid going because if your starting rotation, your starting pitcher go out there, he give up 5 runs off the bat. It don't matter if your bullpen pitched perfect from the 6th, 7th inning on. They gave up 5 runs. Now you count on your offense to give you 5 runs, and that's not a guarantee. So I'm going to go with starting pitching because you got to have somebody set the tone. What other Tigers questions do we got? What is your favorite Tigers memory or moment? I got a few I could think of off rip. Again, going to Cabrera's last game was something that will stick with me forever. Going to Cabrera, hitting 3,000 is something that will stick with me forever. Going to a game, Robbie Grossman hitting a walk-off home run. It was my first time going to a Tigers game after COVID. So that hit home for me because hadn't been to a game in a minute. It was in the cold. The Yankees were in town too, so that gave it a little sweeter. I was going through a lot in my personal life at the time, especially that week. But I went to the game for a few hours. I honestly just got away from everything. To see the walk-off home run was probably one of the... I needed that at that moment. I really needed that and put a smile on my face temporarily. So that was big for me. But as much as those moments hit home for me that I just named, there will never be a moment that I enjoy more when the Tigers was playing the Yankees in the ALCS. That pop-up fly ball, Prince Fielder, he waving them off like, I got it. He jumping up and down like, I got it. And he put that glove up and he caught the ball. And the fact I knew my favorite baseball team was going to the World Series. Oh, man, there's not a feeling better than that one as a Tigers fan, man. Knowing your team is going to the World Series. Oh, I remember that next day of school. Everybody was just so happy. Oh, my goodness. What is your favorite Tigers walk-up song or entrance music? This one's a bittersweet one because I just told this answer on the last episode, I believe it was. But Andrew Chafin, man, I got friends in low places. Down to the oasis. That's my... And they traded him, man. Why did they trade Andrew Chafin with the best song? That's the greatest entrance music, though, in Tigers history. When I tell you America would be turned when that song come on, man. Me too. Oh, man. So y'all see what I got on. Y'all see I got the Lions gear. You see the Lions poster right there, Lions football there. Earlier in the summer on the podcast, I told y'all I had a big announcement for y'all, something I was going to share with y'all as far as the Lions go in Ford Field this season. Well, if you didn't know, now you know. Your boy is one of the official flag guys for the Detroit Lions. I am on the hype squad, the flag crew. Yes, I'm running on the field with the flag after every score, after every win. And I think it might just be the best job in the world. I mean, I literally get to be a fan and I get the best seat in the house. You can't script that, man. You can't. So I'm just very fortunate for the opportunity to be the official flag guy of the Detroit Lions. My favorite football team, your favorite football team, hopefully. So the future Super Bowl champs, Lions. What is your biggest concern for the Lions heading into the season? Pretty much everything I just talked about regarding the Super Bowl. I don't want the hype to get to our heads, man. Like, we got a lot of hype going into this season, and rightfully so, but I don't want it to go to our head, man. Like, we just made Sports Illustrated cover. The Sports Illustrated cover, should I say. Sports Illustrated predicted the Lions to win the Super Bowl. I just don't want to, I don't want the hype to get to our head and then we screw it all up, basically, Oh, this is actually a two-parter. What is the most frustrating thing about being a Lions fan? Then what's the best thing about being a Lions fan? The most frustrating. Let's start with that one. I like to go from bad to positive. The most frustrating thing is that my whole life until last year hadn't seen the Lions win a playoff game. I've only seen the Lions in the playoffs, 3 times. I don't think they made the playoffs till I was about 10 years old, maybe even older than that. So I was that's how long it took for me to see the Lions in a playoff game versus the other teams. Again, saw the Pistons early on, Red Wings early on, Tigers early on. The Lions, it took a little minute in my life till I finally seen them play off. Took me till I was grown to see them win a playoff game. And longer it took me till I was grown to even see them host the game at home. So I say all this to say, my whole life being a Lions fan, it just didn't go so well until last season. What's the best part about being a Lions fan? Now that we're winning, I can talk so much smack that I've been waiting to talk for years. It's the fact that all that pain and hurt, it didn't feel worth it yet. Like, we got to win the Super Bowl for me to be like, all right, it was worth it. Because it would make it just as much sweeter. But, just the fact, I got laughed at, talked about all them years, And now that the team is relevant, like the talk of the town, like Super Bowl contender, it just make it go like, wow, like it gets you like in your feelings dang near because, man, we went through a lot. Now that the team is good, it's nothing like it. It's just fun being a Lions fan now. Watching them take over every road stadium, come on, man. What is your favorite Lions game you've attended? One was as the flag guy, so that one low-key stands out, just having, again, the best seat in the house. But my favorite one got to be, I believe it was 2018. The Lions are playing the Patriots. It's Tom Brady. It's the year the Patriots won their last Super Bowl with Brady. Excuse me. And the Lions started off like 0-3. Patriots started off 1-2. Again, the Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl that season. Bottom line, both teams needed to win that night. Sunday Night Football. Lil Jon's the halftime performer. That was pretty cool. The Lions actually beat the Patriots, though. And it was the craziest thing because the Lions won against the greatest quarterback of all time. The way the Lions fans were after that game, you would have thought they won the Super Bowl. Legit. Because, again, this is when the Lions were still bad. So the fact we beat the Super Bowl champs, that was enough for us at that point. We like, hey, we'll take it. So that was probably the favorite game. Sunday Night Football, primetime television. The world is watching. The Lions won. The worst part about it was the traffic getting out that night. I didn't get home to 1 a.m. that night. About 1:30 to be exact. That part I didn't like. Would you rather have a winning record every year or the Lions win a Super Bowl every decade? Give me the Super Bowl every decade because I've watched them not win a Super Bowl ever. And then I could get one every decade now. They could, every decade, from let's say from 2020 to 2029, they could miss the playoffs all them years. Or from 20, let's say the Lions, I'll start in 2030 since we already in this decade. From 2030 to 2038, they can miss the playoffs every year. But boy, let them win that Super Bowl in 2039. I'll be just as happy. I'll take it. Versus us making the playoffs every year just to get heartbroken. That's like Dallas. Shout out. No shout out Dallas. Not for that one. Would you rather have Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff as your quarterback? Matthew Stafford was a fan favorite quarterback. But he didn't win me 2 playoff games. He didn't win me the first division I've seen in my lifetime. You know, he didn't do that for me. Shout out Stafford, but he didn't do that for me. I didn't hear the people chanting Matthew Stafford. They was chanting Jared Goff. Jared Goff. Give me Jared Goff. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm sorry, Stafford. You was my guy, but Jared did more for me in 3 years than you did for me in a decade. So I'm taking Jared easy. Detroit Lions fans, Detroit sports fans, Buffalo sports fans, I got something for you. So if you've been watching this episode and you want to know how to win something from the episode, something for free, you just gotta just tell me that you actually watched this episode. If you send me a screenshot on my social media handles, you see it right there. You see my social media handles. If you don't, it is at RJHunt36 on pretty much every platform. Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, pretty much anywhere. Or you can even text my phone number if you got it. But bottom line, I got this Lions bag for you. I got it from the game at Ford Field. It's a clear plastic bag. If you want it, you just got to send me a screenshot that you listen to this episode and it's yours. All right? So if you want that gift, send that screenshot to me and I'll put you in a raffle and I will announce the winner, let's say a week after the episode, okay? A week after it's dropped, I'll announce the winner. All you got to do is send that screenshot. Again, send me that screenshot, share the episode on your social media platforms as well, and boom, you will be entered into a raffle for that clear plastic bag. Free. I'll ship it to you. I'll find it. I'll find you. I'll find your address. I'll find out where you stay. I'll find out what corner you at. Bottom line, it could be yours. All right, let's talk some let me flip my script real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk some boxing. Never mind, no flipping yet. No flipping yet. Who do you think is the greatest boxer of all time? I mean, you see me putting on the gloves. You ask me. I think I'm the say no, I'm not the greatest boxer of all time. Give me Floyd Money Mayweather, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. Of course, he got the undefeated record. A lot of people give him static for that because they be like, oh, he selected when he wanted to fight people. So what? That man beat the most champions of all time, most Hall of Famers of all time. He made your favorite fighter look average. Shane Mosley, Canelo. Look at that Canelo. Canelo was everybody was scared of Canelo. They was ducking him. He was the boogeyman. Floyd was old. What happened? Beat him. They talk about Pacquiao and Floyd. Pacquiao didn't fight him in his prime. Floyd wasn't in his prime either. And Pacquiao won the championship after Floyd retired. Come on now. So, give me Floyd Mayweather every day of the week. TBE. What is your favorite boxing match of all time? When I was younger, I used to say it was Floyd Mayweather versus Oscar De La Hoya. Then at one point, it was Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter, but then I watched Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearns. I hate the fact that fight was only 3 rounds, but for 3 rounds, they went at it. Aaron Pryor and Arguello got a strong honorable mention too. Because if you ain't watched that fight, that's a good one. But I gotta go Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearns. I'm mad my guy Tommy lost, but that's the one. What is the most memorable knockout you've ever seen? I've seen a lot of knockouts, but the one that scared me the most, this one stands out to me because I was watching it when it happened. And I remember I jumped up celebrating. My dad told me, hold on, don't celebrate because that man's still out. That got to be Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. He was watching that fight. I'm like, yeah, Tank won. I'm going crazy. He like, hold on. Because he said, that boy ain't moving. He ain't moving. Don't celebrate yet. We got to make sure he good. And that was real because it got scary for a second. Like, that broadcast dang near went off the air and homeboy was still out. So I got to go Tank on Santa Cruz. All right, next question for you. Would you rather be known as a knockout artist or a technical boxer? My boxing fans gonna hate me on this one. But give me the knockout artist, man. That's technical boxers, yeah, them the ones who the boxing community love, and all that, like a Floyd, for example. Floyd, real boxing fans love Floyd, right? Or not, depending on how you look at it. A Devin Haney. Anybody who just go in there, jab it out, got a good jab. Shout out my man Tony Harrison. He's a technical boxer. He's very good with his jab and all that. He gonna get you on points, right? But then I like my knockout artists. You know what I'm saying? I do. I like watching Mike Tyson highlights. I like watching Deontay Wilder highlights. Bud Crawford highlights. Tank Davis highlights. Naoya Inoue a little bit of everything. No, like I ain't gonna hold you. I take that back. Get rid of Inoue. But bottom line, the guys who get the highlights and all that. There's nothing like watching a good fight and then bam, it's over by knockout. Like, I'm a knockout guy first as it go into decision. I ain't gonna hold you. Especially because I ain't gonna lie to you. Boxing, with the way the judging goes sometimes, I don't like fights going to decision because I know you gotta anticipate it being some drama because the scores are gonna sometimes not reflect what you saw. So I'd rather them just go ahead and get the knockout. I don't even want to think about the judges. That's how I look at it.
It's your girl, Caressa the Glow Shields, and I'm here with Buffed Up Sports.
All right. Lastly, let's finish with the women, the WNBA, who is standing on business right now. The summer has belonged to the women when it comes to sports. Honestly, the spring did too with the NCAA tournament and all that, but the WNBA has been the talk of the town. I just tweeted yesterday. I said, boy, I'm glad the game is growing, but I missed them $15 days when I could go to a game. I went to the WNBA finals for $10, y'all. Them days is gone. $10 ain't getting you in the game no more. But I'm happy for them. They deserve it. So let's talk the WNBA. Before I do that, though, as I flip to my WNBA questions, I want to shout out my man Dan on the Room for Sports podcast because I was on there earlier this week and we had a whole episode dedicated to the WNBA. He brought me on. He said he promised his viewers that he wanted to do a WNBA episode, and he delivered because he brought me on. He said, hey, man, I know you a big WNBA fan. 2 guys from MC talking WNBA sports. You got to love it. I'm going to drop the link in the little description box, but I want y'all to go check it out. Show Dan some love the same way y'all show me love, and I hope y'all appreciate the episode, all right? So now let me get my little WNBA segment on real quick. How do you think the expansion of the WNBA will impact the league in the long term? I think it's a great thing. Expansion is probably one of the more important things the WNBA needs right now. I was just in the barbershop yesterday talking about, look at how many NBA players, for example, or let's start off with the men's college players. They go off in March Madness, and a lot of them get drafted just because of their March Madness play, or they go to Summer League, right? Bottom line, they get some kind of NBA contract, and then they might play their first few years, and it might not work out, like a Frank Kaminsky, you know? Dog in college, early draft pick, made it to the league, just didn't pan out, you know, but he played in the league a few years. Versus the WNBA, a lot of the women's college players, they a dog in college, they go to the draft, they getting drafted top 10, top 5, all that, right? They don't even make it past training camp. They don't even make the roster to start the season. That's why I feel like expansion is so strong for the WNBA right now, because you got all these hoopers who made it that far and never even got a second chance because the league is so limited and so small. You ain't got a time for a second chance. And that goes back to my point comparing with the NBA. You got the G Leagues and all that, or even Summer League, right? WNBA don't have that. So that's why I'm saying, like, expansion is pretty important. But that goes into my next question. Would you rather see the WNBA expand or increase the salary cap? I gotta go with the salary cap. Okay, hold on. Pump the brakes. If I could get this team back here, then give me expansion every day of the week. But there's no way that team's coming back. Then I'll go ahead and say, you know what? Up the salary cap, then. Up the salary cap, because $200K for the top players ain't cutting it, man. And that's $200K contracts. Come on, man. They superstars, and that's all they could get. I know Joe Blows that's making $200K. You know what I'm saying? That ain't fair. Would you rather have the WNBA season start in the spring or the fall? The WNBA is in the perfect time slot. Don't change it, because the summer the summer is baseball, right? But I don't know about y'all, but I feel like more people talked about the WNBA. Granted, this season, more people talked about the WNBA more than it ever has. But I feel like the WNBA was popping more than baseball, right? At least for me. Maybe I'm biased. But I say that because, let's be real, summertime is known as the dog days of sports because there's no football. There's no basketball. There's no hockey. There's pretty much no other major sport going on except baseball until you bring in the other major sport of basketball, right? With the women. That's why the big three did their season during the summer. So I say it's perfect to start in the spring, because if you go against football season, I don't care how much the game grows, you're not beating football. The NBA doesn't beat football. And I'm not even trying to say that to be sexist. That's just a factual statement. Football got it locked when it comes to sports in America, right? Fall is football. College and pro. You don't want to compete with that. How many people you know don't watch the NBA until after the All-Star break? You know why that is? Because after the All-Star break is right after the Super Bowl when football just ended. So, like, they like, okay, I got nothing to watch from February to June. I'm about to watch the NBA now. Don't do the fall. Stick to the spring. What I will say is I don't like when the WNBA Finals falls on a Sunday at 3 o'clock. What the heck are we doing, man? What the heck are we doing? Why would you throw a WNBA Finals game in the fall on a Sunday, knowing the NFL is on at that time? Again, let's think logically. I caught static for saying this on Twitter last year. But let's think here for a second. I know real WNBA fans are going to watch the game whenever it come on. But what about the casual fans you're also trying to attract too? That's common sense. Don't put the game on against the number one sport in America right now. Don't do that. If you're gonna throw a game on in the fall, you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Don't do Monday Night Football. You got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday Night Football starting to hype up itself. But Monday, Tuesday, I keep saying Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. There you go to work with. Saturday night, you got college football prime time. Sunday night. But if you do Sunday, what about the 5 o'clock slot? Because the game is about 2 hours. You can do 5 to 7, even 6 o'clock, 6 to 7. There's football games that start at 4 and they go to about 7 o'clock. But those are not that many. And yeah, that's Fox America's game of the week. So you still going against that as well. But you don't want to compete against Sunday Night Football. All I'm saying is don't throw a game on at 3, y'all. Don't do that on a Sunday in the fall because you're just going to hurt yourself in the end. That's my hot take for the week. Who is your favorite WNBA player of all time? The M''BP, the MVP of the league, Miss A'ja Wilson. No doubt about it. A'ja Wilson got my love for the WNBA back after depressing time when I lost my team right there because it used to be Katie Smith back in the day. Shout out Katie Smith. But A'ja Wilson has got me back, and A'ja Wilson has done things that's just phenomenal, man. Come on now. What is your favorite WNBA game you've attended or watched? I'm going to go with my favorite game I've attended. Because a lot of the games I attended were pretty great. Let me just flex real quick. I've been to a WNBA finals game, WNBA playoff games, with the Shock. Good seats, too. I've seen the Vegas Aces play the season they won their championship. I've seen Candace Parker become the first player in WNBA history to have 3 triple-doubles. I was at the game when she got the 3rd one. And then I went to the most watched All-Star game of all time. So I got to say the favorite is that All-Star game, man. You can't top the experience of an All-Star game, but just the fact I actually was in person, I was a part of it, behind the scenes, and just knowing I was a part of something historic while also getting to interact with the players, seeing literally all-stars play in front of me, knowing they were 2 weeks away from a gold medal at that. Let me give it, no-brainer, man. No-brainer. So, that's that. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode where I answered questions about all my sport teams, the leagues I follow, all that. I hope you enjoyed the would you rathers. I hope you enjoyed the favorite questions. Bottom line is, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode and share it to some friends. Y'all be blessed. Thank you all for listening to today's episode. I hope you come back for more episodes. Remember to please subscribe on whatever platform you are watching or listening to Buffed Up Sports on. If you can, comment, leave a rating, leave a review, because I love to hear all the feedback. Feedback is appreciated. So the comments, the reviews, the ratings are appreciated. Also, remember to send it to a friend, send it to 2 friends, send it to 3 friends if you love today's episode, all right? And even if you didn't, still send it to them to tell them how bad it is. I don't care what you do. Just send it to some folks, please. But remember to go to buffedupsports.com. That is the official Buffed Up Sports website. There you will have the social media links that I'm on. You will also find the platforms that the podcast is available on. And you will find the ways to, support the channel on with the cha-ching-ching, if you know what I'm saying. So, remember these words. Spread love. Keep your chest out. Hold your head up. Show off them pretty teeth. And don't y'all worry about a thing. Until next time, y'all be good out there. And God bless you all. Peace.